Through the prayers of Holy Fathers, Lord Jesus Christ, our God, have mercy on us and save us. Amen. Today, 27th of May, according to the civil calendar, is May 14th of the church calendar. The traditional Orthodox Church today commemorate the Holy Martyr Isidore. Kindly subscribe if you have not, and like and share so that this video may reach as many as possible number of people. In the reign of the Emperor Decius, this Isidore was taken by force by soldiers from the highland of Chios. He had heard the Christian faith from his youth and had spent his life in fasting, prayer, and good works. So, when in the army, he declared himself to be a Christian. The commander took him to task for it and urged him to deny Christ and offer sacrifice to idols. The saint replied, "Even if you kill my body, you have no power over my soul. I have the true and living God, Jesus Christ, who lives in me and will be with me at my death. And I am in him and shall remain in him and will not cease to confess his holy name, while the Spirit is in my body." The commander ordered that they first beat him with iron flails and then cut out his tongue. But even without his tongue, Isidore was able to speak and confess the name of Christ by the Spirit of God. Meanwhile, the punishment of God struck the commander, and he suddenly became mute. The mute commander finally gave the signal to behead Isidore. What a wicked word. Isidore rejoiced at the sentence and, praising God, went out to the scaffold where his head was cut off in the year 251. His friend Hammon buried his body, and after that himself suffered and received the wrath of martyrdom. Lord have mercy. Our Holy Father, Serapion the Sidonite. Sidon means linen cloth, and this saint was called the Sidonite because he covered his naked body only with a linen cloth. He carried the gospel in his hand. Serapion lived like the birds with no food and no cares, moving from one place to another. He gave his linen cloth to a poor wretch who was shivering with cold, and himself remained completely naked. When someone asked him, "Serapion, who made you naked?" he indicated the gospel and said, "This." But after that, he gave away the gospel also for the money needed by a man who was being handed to prison by a creditor for debt. At one time in Athens, he did not eat for 4 days, having nothing, and began to cry out with hunger. When the Athenian philosopher asked him what he was shouting about, he replied, "There were 3 to whom I was in debt. 2 have quitted down, but the 3rd is still tormenting me." The crowd was roused to aid him. They asked him who these were, who were tormenting him. He replied, "The first creditor is kind and lust, which has tormented me from my youth. The second is love of money, and the 3rd is the stomach. The first 2 have left me alone, but the 3rd one still torments me." The philosopher gave him some gold to buy bread. He went to a baker, bought a single loaf, pulled down all the gold, and went out. He went peacefully to the Lord in the old age in the 5th century. Lord have mercy. He was of German birth, going to Rostov from an attraction. This is Saint the Blessed Isidore, the Fool for Christ, another saint we commemorate today. He was of German birth, going to Rostov from an attraction of the Orthodox faith. He not only became a member of the Orthodox Church, but took on himself the strict asceticism of folly for Christ. He lived in rags, spending the day pretending madness, and through this madness teaching men and spending the night in prayer. He spent this night in a hut outside the town, built in a lonely swamp. Great and mighty wonders were performed by this saint, both during his lifetime and after his death. He appeared to a merchant who had been thrown out of his ship and was drowning. Isidore came to him through the water and led him to the shore. He caused the wine in all the containers to dry up one day, when the servant had driven him from the door of the prince of Rostov without giving him a single cup of water. When he died in his hut on May 24th, 1484, the whole of Rostov was aware of a fragrant aroma. The merchant who had been saved from the sea built a church in the place where the hut had stood. 227. For consideration. A sin that is a cause of scandal to others is a twofold sin. A wise man tries to ensure that he gives scandal to no one by his sinful example and leads another into sin. St. Ambrose applauds such wisdom in the Emperor Valentina, who died young in this example from his life. The emperor, hearing that he was being talked of all over Rome as a passionate hunter of wildebeest, which he, in fact, was not, and that this passion was taking the emperor away from his duties of state, immediately commanded that all the wildebeest in the forest be destroyed. Hearing on another occasion that some malicious person was spreading word that he launched Shelley, wanting by this to make him out of the glutton, he took on himself a very strict fast, both publicly and privately. At public means it was rarely seen to put a morsel of food into his mouth. When again his sister were in dispute with a man over some land, an emperor, although he had the right to try the case himself, submitted it to trial in open court, so that he could not be accused of partiality. Truly, this devout emperor kept with godly fear to the words of the Lord. Woe to him that causes offense to one of these little ones. Thank you, and God bless you. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, I want through God. Amen.